Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are Autosave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Attack on Titan, Season 3, Episode 10. Last episode, Queen Historia,
Ruler of the Walls,
put a final blow to a chunk of rod.
Yep.
He got blown up from Eren Titan shoving a net full of explosives into his mouth, and
it was a sight.
There
were a lot of sights to see.
I almost threw up last episode.
I actually watched back our reaction to that specific scene because I was like, I knew that how nauseous I felt and how disgusted I was.
Yeah.
And you can tell that we're not having a fun
time. It was horrifying. I hated it. I hated it so much, but I applaud the show for making me hate something so much. I am excited to see.
It was a great plan.
I'm excited to see where we go because it kind of felt like, okay, sick, we're done, we completed it. But now we have Kenny and Levi's interaction where Kenny has the syringe, and I don't know if he's going to use it or not.
I mean, I think it's a really great point that you bring up, oh, we're good, we're done. Because, wouldn't you think you'd be done if, I just put Historia in as ruler, now you just go to the basement, and then you and Historia, Eren, clear up all the Titans, and everyone is good and safe. But I feel like that, obviously, we can't get the ending at the end of the season. That's not possible. So I'm like, what crazy twist is going to happen? That's obviously, like we've said, there are other players, and we don't know where some of those players are right now, or what they're doing, or what they're planning.
I would assume, as long as the Kenny Levi thing doesn't lead to anything crazy, that we'd regroup, Historia would stay within the interior to rule, and the rest of us would try to take another shot at getting to the basement.
You did say to me earlier how you are kind of sad about that.
Oh, yeah.
About the role that Historia is about to play and what that means for us seeing her in the story.
It's bittersweet because, if they kept I don't see Historia being as integral to the story going forward.
Just
because
on-screen.
she'd be removed from the scouts and be the queen, correct? And we follow the scouts. So I would be like, oh, darn, we won't see as much as of her. But I do feel like her character had such great growth and such a great story that I wouldn't want them to, oversaturate us with Historia or, not, just keep her in the story just cause.
The last few episodes this whole season has been very Historia heavy.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of having an episode or two where she is taking on this role and taking not even necessarily a backseat, because you can't say ruler is a backseat, just a ruler in the backseat in the action.
Yeah.
So I guess it's probably necessary to not oversaturate with her.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of Kenny and Levi's conversation, I'm still not thinking Kenny plans on using the syringe for himself.
I think we're going to have a conversation before that choice is made.
He needs to Levi needs to learn some things.
Yes.
There are some pieces of Levi's past that Kenny has not told him and that Levi does not know. Levi needs to know his role in terms of the kingdom.
Is this going to be Levi being told that he's an Ackerman?
Right, and what that means.
Yeah.
Are we going to see an interaction with Levi after he knows, talking to Mikasa, being like, what's up, cuz?
One of my biggest things still, that I think about actively throughout the day that haunts me is the orangutan. And I was in my mind right now, if I had to, say what he is, I would compare him to the Scout Regiment. I think he's coming from another place, and he's the opposite side scouts. That's what I thought.
He was coming to assess.
Yeah.
So
I thought it'd be cool.
That's
narratively.
not a reach. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to see that hairy man again. I am excited to get into it.
I'm proud of Eren.
Yes.
For the last episode.
Himself in the face.
For punching himself in the face, yes. I think that was the only way, and it was for him. That was the perfect way for him. to kind of wake himself up and set himself straight. And it was just so cute to have him go from like really self-deprecating, I am the worst trump card for humanity, I feel bad for them for having to put their faith in me, to being like, I am the one that's gonna save humanity.
He went from being a trump card to being an ace up the sleeve.
And yes, amazing. And it didn't feel, I would say, like, normally, if you explained that, like, how that happened to me outside of the show, and you were like, yeah, this character says this, and then they punch themselves in the face, and then like a couple minutes later they feel differently and they say this, I'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, there needs to be more time for a character to like change their minds that way and get that confidence.
Yeah.
But because we've had so much time with Eren and actually understand how his brain works and what his personality is like, I think it's more accessible to understand how that could actually happen with him. I
completely agree. Like, we can understand his way of thinking to a degree, and that really helps us.
And he has coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
He knows himself.
Dude, Eren's been through some shit, man. He really like has so much information given to him. Describing him feels like describing myself with this show. Like, it's just being given so much information that's like, how do you process it, you know?
Right. It's like you almost can compare him to a character that's been transported to a new world where they now have to learn this new world and become somehow important to it. Even though he was born into this world, he's forced into this role and this truth of a world. And it's so compelling. It's unsettling. It's disorienting. We can feel everything that he feels.
It's Attack on Titan.
It's Attack on Titan.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Is it a stage?
Nile. That's cool.
Is that like her flag and her crest?
I just remembered something I want to talk about in the discussion. Okay.
Interesting. So they don't start us right back out where we left off. They kind of start 3 minutes prior.
So in episode, it could be 3 or 4, I don't know for sure.
Of this season?
Of this season. We were taking a stroll through the city before John and Armin got captured, like, in disguise. Yeah. We saw the king's crest that we like looked at in the discussion. It looked like a tree with like roots and like another side to it underground. Do you think that was like symbolizing the underground chapel?
Probably. I like that.
That'd be badass.
And now this is like Historia's symbol and flags.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. With Rod's brother.
Rod's brother.
Yep.
Why is he in Titan form?
How did this interaction come to be?
Rod's there.
Yuri.
So he can't use his power against him.
Yuri's a badass. Damn. Tears in his eyes.
The pillars of the underground are like in the cavern.
You're right.
だいぶ前に病気をもらっちまってから売り物になってやせ。痩せちまったな、クシェル。死んでる。
Fuck.
生きてる方か。
Does Levi remember this?
勘弁してくれよ。わからねえのか。ただのリヴァイ。名乗る価値もねえよな。俺はケニー。ただのケニーだ。クシェルとは知り合いだった。よろしくな。愛想のねえ死にかけのガキ。クシェルの忘れがたみは親に飼われるほどできた人間じゃねえ。俺が教えられることは多くねえが、まずはナイフの握り方。
So he taught him how to defend
それと
himself.
ご近所付き合い、挨拶の仕方、身の振り方とナイフの振り方。
Oh.
So he basically gave him what he needed to survive.
術を教えたまでだ。
It's kind of loving.
勝手に行けばいい。
I am adoring this, and he looks just like Mikasa.
お前自身の
He switched how he held it.
Just like his blade. This is amazing.
中央家そこが王の果てしなさいよ。サネさんよ。随分浸水されなさってるようだな。お前は違うのか。
It's weird to see him younger.
なぜ王の元に下った？多分奴が一番強いからだ。この世で一番強い奴のことを示す力さえありゃいいんだよ。私はもう長くな。もん誰だって見りゃわかるよ。化け物のくせに。
Did they die young?
老いと病にはかなわねえ。
He's aged so much.
And disease.
この力はロードの子たちに引き継がれる。私はその子らの記憶の中で生き続けるだろう。この世界はそう遠くない未来、必ず滅ぶ。私は楽園を築き上げたいのだ。それは避けがたいこの世の真実だろう。滅ぼし合うほかなかった我々を友人にしたものは一体何だ。あの時の奇跡を信じている。奴とは最後まで同じ気分にはなれなかったが、受け継がれたらしい。目を見ればそんな奴がいると分かった。ロッドの平和がどうのこうのとか似たようなことをほざいている。どうしてお前はそんな暇なことを言ってられる？身に力があって余裕があるからか。その力あれば誰でも同じなのか。例えば俺でも。切り裂きケニーとかいうダセい呼ばれ方もしたな。おめえらみてえなことかっきったりしてきた罰なんだが、部隊の隊長を務めることになった。よろしくな。お前らのボスだって言われてもよろしくねえだろうよ。
構いません。破壊されて2年。巨人の相手は諦めて。それが我々の存在意義ですね。
調査兵団の対抗組織なんて大義名分。議会のクソどもをうなずかせるクソ用の方便だ。全ては大いなる夢のためだ。みんな慈悲深くなっちまうらしい。こんなクソ野郎でもそうなっちまうのか。
Huh.
知りてえ。そこから一体どんな景色が見える？
Great question.
俺のようなクズにも本当にお前と対等な景色を
Oh
見
my
る
god.
ことができるのか。
Chills.
ウリ。
Okay. So we're seeing some blood relative things here. Okay, in the mid roll.
あんたはもう助からねえな。どうかな。ロッドのカバンから一つくすねといて巨人になるらしいな。なっちまう。
One of those dumb titans.
ひとまずはずだ。それを打つ時間も体力も今よりかあったはず。なんだろうな。ちゃんと注射打たねえとあいつみてえな出来損ないになっちまいそうだしな。
So it is the way he injects you.
Yeah.
死にたくねえし力が欲しかった。そうか。今なら奴のやったことわかる気がする。見てきた奴ら みんなそうだった。酒だったり女だったり神様だったりもする。子供、力、やってられなかったんだな。何かの奴隷だった。あいつでさえも。お前はなんだ、英雄か。知っていることをすべて話せ。なぜ人類の存続を望まない？知らねえ。だが俺らは
We Ackermans.
対立した理由は
He hates some bloods on him.
赤母さんのなんだ。バカがただの兄貴だ。なんで俺から去っていった？人の親にはなれねえよ。
He gives it to him. He's dead.
Oh, look at her hair. Gorgeous. I hope that Darius cleaned his hands thoroughly before handing her that crown. Flagel!
This feels like odd, but also right.
I love that she had the idea. Oh, it's great.
It was a good idea.
Beautiful. Strong.
Look at her.
Oh no, Levi's gonna
Is she
get...
gonna punch him in the
Yeah.
face? Oh my god.
Exercise your power.
John, why are you encouraging this? Reiner?
They fought?
They're waiting by
For
Aaron's
Aaron.
house.
Look at those glasses.
How is he so ripped?
Okay, that was season 3, episode 10 of Attack on Titan. Holy shit, I didn't even need that. I didn't need that. Did you need that? I didn't need that. I didn't need it. But we got it. Emotions. I love Kenny so much. What a great character, I think.
It's like you can't, I mean, he's just like every other character. You can't fully fault him, can't fully hate him. You can understand his reasonings for doing things because it makes sense to his own, like, everyone's allowed to be a little bit selfish. Everyone is a little bit selfish. No one is inherently good or inherently bad completely. And he is just another wide example of that.
I think it is decently compelling to want to understand and feel the feeling that those who hold that power have. It is so interesting and different.
I'm about to get so comfy to have this discussion. I'm like, need to just, okay.
It's like, I get that. Like, I believe that. I think I think, I don't know, I almost cried for Levi. Like, Levi was gonna die. I know, obviously, from No Regrets, Levi had others, but Kenny was the first. And if he had no one else, then obviously he meant something to him.
I'm just so, like, It's so disturbing how that person, the owner of this brothel or whatever it is, didn't know she was dead.
Oh my God,
How
yeah.
long was she dead? Like, that's my big question, you know? He was like, no one's bought her in a while or whatever. Like, how long was she dead? Did it just happen? Has it been a couple days? Has it been a while? Like, I don't know if they would show... I mean, they show some, like, gory stuff in the show, but I don't know what level of decomposition they would have been willing to show.
Yeah. It's an interesting
but
question,
I really
though.
do want to know, because it's not like that guy would care. Well, if he thought she was dead, he might want to evict her body out of there so he could, like, get a new girl
Probably.
or something for that room.
What do you think of Yuri?
I am interested in this aging process, that disease that happened.
So,
is that for every person that has the founding Titan power?
I think so. Like, I was writing it down. Like, I think that it would affect. Like, I think there's probably like I don't know. Like you're sacrificing something, whether you know it or not.
My only issue with that is Rod and Yuri's dad didn't look old, like really, really old.
He was kind of old.
He looked like a dad.
Yeah.
But he didn't look like he was a 20-something-year-old trapped in a old man with a Kane's body.
It depends when he got it, right?
I guess you're right. It depends on when it was passed down to him. But
I think we've had no... Other than this episode, we've had nothing to suggest that, but I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that there is a, like, I don't know, a toll, I'll say, that it takes on you.
I guess that would make sense of why it so quickly needs to be turned over, because a person's lifetime can be around 100 years, you know? So, like, why the turnover of so many people obtaining this founding Titan power? So it makes sense if it shortens their life.
You really wonder, like, what is it? Like even within such tiny walls, to be unable to build paradise, I'm a fool.
It's like he wants to build paradise. Does that mean that there's still this, like, discourse within him of, like, he wants to build paradise, but he feels like it's not possible because of the unavoidable truth of humans resorting to violence?
World's gonna crumble, right? According to Yuri / the holders of this power.
Yeah.
Right? The first king. And in humanity's fading twilight, I wish to build paradise. Is that his wish? Is that the king's wish? Is, like, why is humanity gonna crumble? What's gonna happen?
I'm not any closer to understanding why we don't take down Titans and why we go so far to create a squad of people to purposefully get in the way of the scouts. I still can't quite figure out why. This did not help me in it. It gives more evidence of how they have this sense of compassion and this sense of, like, preaching love and kindness and compassion over using their power. And I am no closer to understanding why they don't just defeat Titans.
So, okay. Let's play out a potential, right? So there was, like, this perspective on, like, what made Kenny and Yuri's relationship work. And it was like, what was it? And Yuri, the person who held power, who was the strongest, met Kenny halfway. He, not even that, he just bowed down to him and apologized.
And what he said was really important and really vital, I think, was your anger or your hatred towards this power and the king is completely justified.
Yeah.
Your whole family has been run out of town, persecuted, like
I wonder if, like, okay, if everybody was like Yuri, if everybody was willing to meet people halfway, even without that power or with that power monetarily, then humanity would be able to live in peace and live in a paradise. But since that can't happen, because in human nature, seemingly, that's not going to happen. I think
people are always going to want power.
I think there's a perspective or a point of view that could be like, okay, well, what if we all had a common enemy, a common goal, so we wouldn't have to worry about
infighting.
Yeah. Then I could see that as a possible solution. Obviously, it didn't fucking work. But
and there's no power struggle because there's a king.
Yeah.
There is a king in power that has ruled over you for so long, and the king's grip on the civilization as king and as the ruler is so tight and so strong that it's almost comforting.
Yeah, but for a singular person to make that decision for all of humanity, you've done fucked up, sir. Like obviously, like, you could be right. There's a potential in like a point of view where that works.
It's like, I mean, we keep I think in past discussions we've been comparing it to a mom that's so overprotective that they won't let their kid leave the house or something. It's like Kenny reminds the audience that everyone is run by something. There is some crux to everyone, something that runs their life basically, or is what they will do anything for. Power, I don't know, happiness, food on the table, so many different things. I'm very like not understanding how he knows humanity is fading. Did the king know? Do they have like a crystal ball? Can they see? Do they know what's going to happen? If they have the memories of people, how do they, is it like a line, like linear? Can they see future stuff?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what I was trying to like get at. Like, can you... But, okay, if you can see future stuff, how does that motivate you to... What?
If you could see the future stuff, wouldn't you think that you'd want to stop Berthold and Reiner from crashing into the walls and creating fear and panic within your people?
That's the thing.
Like, wouldn't you... If you're so undercover and running things from the shadows, wouldn't you run things from the shadows and try to kill Reiner and Berthold? So that you can keep this peace and security and all of your walls whole. Yep. If the walls are given by God, if you could see in the future that one of the walls was going to get broken down, I'm pretty sure you would try to like stop that.
Unless
then again, you're a pacifist.
Unless it was like part of the plan, but I don't know.
It's inevitable and unavoidable.
Maybe it's like he can see the people who live inside his walls' future, but he can't see like another civilization's future. Yeah. So he can't like account for those variables.
Right. I don't know.
I do really like Yuri. Like, I like him as a character, and I think he's very interesting. Like, I'm afraid I cannot die right now. It's like
it does that almost beg the question of, does he want to die?
Maybe. Like, it's like, it's hard because it's like, is holding the power a burden to bear, and you are being righteous in bearing that burden, or is it like are you like forced to?
He was so happy that Frida was about to eat him.
Yeah, it's like he was being released from a contract.
And then that makes me think of how what Rod was saying before he licked up the serum or whatever. It was like, I'll be seeing you soon. I don't know, there's something, and that scene with Kenny and how he's like, I can't die yet, but he's crying a little bit when he says that. And it's like, is this position that you don't actually want truly, and you're not getting to act for yourself anymore, you're acting for the greater good? It's almost like, are you being forced into a role like Historia, and how she's trying to break out of that role and choose things for herself?
Yeah.
And is that like family dynamic? Are we supposed to see Historia as doing what none of the other members of her family were ever able to do?
Deriving from that path, like
able to break from it.
Able to, yeah.
Whether they, because I feel like there's a chance that some of them wanted to.
Until they got it.
Until they got it, which we don't know if there's like a brainwashing element, or so much that you realize there's nothing that can be done that will save everyone. I mean, think about that. If you suddenly gained the power to know the future and everything, and there was always going to be war, and there was always going to be people upset, and there was going to be destruction or an inevitable comet that comes and blows up the world, you'd kind of just sit there. There's nothing to do, because no matter what, people are going to die. Well,
that's a great point, because how conceited of a person do you have to be to say, I know what's best for humanity? Like, what leads you to that point? Like, let's equate it to our world. If you knew that, like, an apocalyptic event would happen, like a nuclear apocalyptic event, and it's caused by man, and it's inevitable and it's gonna happen, would that push you to, like, wind back time for lack of a better way to put it, and, like, put yourself in the Stone Age so you don't have that the means?
I could also see it as, like, it's inevitable that this paradise and this peace will be broken. And I see that that's the thing, that's a possibility, and that is coming. And I can't stop the things that are inevitable. And so I'm going to try to keep this, like this is the peace I've created. I tried for humanity to create this, and then you just sit back. It's like what does God do? He creates something, and then he sits back and he watches, basically. And that's almost what they're doing. Yeah. They set something in motion. They created these walls, and it's kind of up to the humans to decide. Because who is it that ended up breaking down the walls? Humans that became Titans. So it's like you're overseeing. You created a scenario. You created a peace for these people. But some of them are ungrateful to it.
Yeah. I just would love to hopefully someday learn the motivation of the first king, of the first person who did this.
I feel like we will learn it, and I wonder how easy it will be for me to understand and process it. I feel like the show does a really good job at helping me understand why characters feel the way they do and why they make the choices that they do. And I hope that that's the same case when we hopefully learn what the first king's thought process was and what Yuri's thought process was. Like, truly, like, what do you see? What do you see?
What does it feel like?
What does it feel like? Would someone who's a horrible person, to them, they believe they're a horrible person and they love violence and they crave power, what would happen if they obtained this power? Would they be compassionate too?
It really comes down to whether or not what they're seeing is something every one of them has agreed upon, like that this is the right way to do it, or it's something that has like changed their mind and will and is forcing them to do it. Like,
what if it's like the king created one memory of what the future had to hold, and each person that gets the power then sees that one memory. But what do we know about life? People with free will can make their choices, and that can change fate. That can change whatever future. So what if that king saw the future at that time, and that's the memory everyone remembers, but the future is actually totally different now because 100 years has gone by and people have acted on their own.
Why is it going to crumble now, though, right? Like, because is it going to crumble now because of that, like, vision of what's going to happen, or is it going to crumble now because of something else? Is it, like, inevitable?
It depends on if they're seeing, like, is it what I just said, where they're seeing this this future that someone 100 years ago saw, or are they seeing currently what the future is? Because I feel like those two things could be totally different of what they're seeing. But like,
you know what it could be? It could not be like a future thing. It could be like he is saying the wall, like things are crumbling now because because these like unprecedented things like the armored and colossal titan appeared.
I mean, he could realize there's unrest. He could realize that people are restless. I mean, they had to create the interior police to try to stop people from being curious.
And it would only be a matter of time at that point.
It would only be a matter of time before there'd be a coup, you know?
Yeah. Do you want to read the mid-roll?
Mid-roll. Yeah, we got some blood relative stuff between Mikasa, Kenny, and Levi. A family of warriors who once served the royal government. They began to be persecuted after distancing themselves from the royal family. The details are unknown, but some experience a mysterious awakening and gain abilities exceeding a typical human.
I wonder what the fuck that is. Like, if the king's the king gets powers to erase people's minds, then why did the Ackermans?
Doesn't it make you want to like see what the king and the original Ackerman family member even were like?
It would be great. I want it. I would love that. I really like
When's Levi gonna tell Mikasa?
I don't know. I really felt bad for Levi.
This was not a great moment for Levi. I mean, he's confronted with realizing that he does have a living family member and a person who he's going to come to understand did whatever made sense to them to be able to protect him. And in the end, you can't be too mad at that. You know?
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head last episode with
the maid
being
Historia's mom.
Yep. Everyone had to be drunk on something to keep pushing on. The Titans are something to be drunk on.
Do you think Rod had to have an arranged marriage so that they could make sure that so he had to marry someone whose memory is from a line in the council whose memories don't get wiped?
Maybe.
So that they would already have an understanding of Titan power?
Perhaps.
Why doesn't the first king want humanity to survive?
And I'm like, the first king probably did. Like, and in his own fucked up way. But, I don't know.
The look on Levi's face when he gets the blood splatter, but then the syringe is like thrust to him, and then he realizes that Kenny is dead.
Yeah.
It's... When Levi is drawn with, like, emotion other than a scowl,
yeah,
it's huge.
Isn't it? Like,
it's
and
huge.
I really feel it.
I'm so glad that No Regrets was kind of like a canonically required thing to watch.
No Regrets has got to be one of my favorite pieces of fiction I've ever consumed. I loved the crowning ceremony. It felt like weird to actually like have like a W like in this show, you know? Like,
that's what I was saying earlier. Like, doesn't it feel weird? Like, everything can be like tied up now, you know? We have someone on our side in charge. Like, we're all gonna fight back against the Titans now. But like, obviously we learn who gets thrown back in at the very end of this episode. Those other players we were talking about. The Beast Titan mainly.
Maybe it's like massively important to have a girl in the front seat. Like, if like Maria Rose Cena, like, what if like they're all queens? They look very similar in hairstyle and crown as Historia does here.
I think it's just the blonde hair. I'm just making a joke there because when we saw the three little girls eating, in all the like pictures we've seen and depictions, it's been like a blonde girl.
So like let's the blonde girls, right, eating, if they all are Maria Rose and Cena, did they eat like What happened there? Like, they weren't Titans there, so whatever they ate would have turned them into Titans?
It could, I mean, like, I am wondering if each of them are within the wall. In Titan form. Like, they were controlled, or they controlled all the Titans to create a wall around them.
But in order to be able to have control and stuff like that, you would need to be turned into a Titan and then eat someone who already has that power.
Which begs the question, can multiple people partake
yes,
in the eating?
But who did they eat? Like we saw them eating something to presumably become a Titan, but then they'd have to eat a person with that power to be able to control it, right? Or they just ate something that would immediately build a wall.
But they might have also been one of the first ways this happens. And the first way you make it happen isn't necessarily what's done now.
Yeah.
So
we got confirmation that Rod turned into that thing because of the way he consumed it. That was really interesting. That it had to be done a specific way.
I guess if it's done a specific way, then you actually have normal, maybe, limbs.
Yeah.
And not a weird body. Oh my god, Historia punching Levi.
That was
then
such
his
a great moment.
Oh, and it was almost like everything's peaceful because all of the friends are behind her. And
How
they're all
didn't we
walking
lose anyone?
together, and no one is dead. Hanji's alive, and everyone's walking, like, hyping her up. It's so cute.
It's amazing.
And then she just kind of gives him a little bop on the arm, and he's like, thank you all. And it's like, oh my god, Levi.
Okay. So after that, we got the scene with Reiner, Bertholdt, and the Orangutan. In my mind, it's very clear that Reiner and Bertholdt were arguing to go back to save Annie. And the Orangutan was like, nah, we're not doing that. They fought over it to see which route they were going to go, and Reiner got stomped.
That's a better understanding of what happened here. Because my first thought was, oh, are we all searching the rubble to figure out which house is Aaron's?
Oh.
And that was just where I don't know. It makes sense that they were fighting him. I won. Okay. I don't know why I didn't
Saving Annie can come later.
And he knows her name.
Yeah.
So, like, it's obvious that this is, like, a leader of theirs.
Yep. I think it's a leader of theirs. He's blonde. He could be Reiner's dad, potentially. I think that they're all from a different place, and Annie was too. And this guy is maybe the person who gave them the mission in the first place.
Right.
And I think it's very sweet that Reiner stood up for his boy, Bert, who has a crush, and he was like, I need Bert to be able to see her again. And look, he got his ass beat, but his intentions were pure. Retrieving the coordinate is our priority, as it should be. You know, it's interesting. Retrieving the coordinate is our priority, as it should be. They obviously come from from an opinion of they could use the coordinate without the Rice family.
Right. They think that they don't need the royal family for that.
Yeah. And so they could, whether they're right or wrong, they had the same knowledge as Grisha did. Mm-hmm. Which is, we
thought maybe Grisha was with them.
Yes, because he had the powers to turn into a Titan. So, do you think there is another way?
I mean, I've already said that I think you can use these powers to some degree, regardless of royal blood.
Well, do you see Reiner opening up his little eye? I like them.
I do like them. Where's Ymir? Ymir didn't come with them?
Good question. Holy shit, good question. Is Ymir dead?
Didn't they say that they couldn't necessarily protect her?
Yeah.
I don't know why she would be punished.
Do you want to know why she would be punished?
Why?
Because she got punished in the first place. Wherever she was coming from, they were like, nah, you fucked up. I'm sending you off the wall. And they wouldn't want her back. They already sent her to die the first time.
But that's you guessing that they're from where Ymir's from.
I know. You're right. So Anna pointed out that orangutan guy looks I think arguably similar to Erwin's dad, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
I know we're going with like the blonde people, and I'm like, well, okay, Reiner's dad too, but like, I don't know, they don't have the right dynamic. They're not acting like father and son.
yeah.
And Erwin's dad has glasses. None of
And-
that has anything to do with like a lot of people can have glasses.
Yeah.
But my like thing is, all I can think about is the fact that in Ymir's society, wherever she was from, people that were punished for against the king or things like that, or treason, were injected and thrown off the walls.
Yeah.
And we know that Erwin's dad did something treasonous and
Correct.
was tortured, interrogated by the interior police. And I'm wondering if this society, which is possibly the same as Ymir's, does the same tactic of how you dispose of people.
I think it's very plausible. I am on the side of things that I don't think this is the same society because we saw Ymir walk for so long.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, she could have just been running around in circles.
But I do think they look similar, other than like the style of
I'd have to
glasses
see the
change.
eye color. Because,
Yeah.
like, it's just blonde hair and glasses at this point, and, like, it would make sense that he didn't age, you know, if he's been in Titan form for so many years, you know?
Yeah.
He should be the same dad age to a child, Erwin.
Think about how strong he must be. Like, did he beat both of them, or was Bert not able to transform?
I don't know. I feel like Berthold isn't really, like, a fighter Titan. You get me?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he could be easily taken down by another strong Titan. And I feel like you kind of have to use Reiner for, like, the fight.
So they know about the basement. Did Orangutitan know about the basement before Reiner and Berthold told him? Because they know that. Do they know that the basement's a thing?
That's a really good question. I don't really know who knows. Well, Sasha and everyone knows about the key.
Exactly.
But they're all, like, they're currently, like, on the same team. So, I don't know. I think everyone possibly knew about the basement and the key.
If they knew about the basement, it would have to be before season 2. Right?
Yeah?
Because season 2 is when it started off, like, all the fighting and stuff like that. It would have to have been before then. That being said,
they were soldiers, so they would have known that Erwin had a plan. Every mission they sent out, like, Annie gets in the way of their mission. Where are they trying to go? To Aaron's basement, right? Or reclaim the territory? Yeah. So,
that was a practice mission.
Practice mission
for
to that.
Yes,
do that.
to retake it, yeah.
So, I think it's safe to say that they probably know about the basement. That's why I thought they were digging for the basement. But it makes a lot more sense that they have a fight with the Beast Titan because they want to go save Annie.
I love Reiner and Berthold. Like, I know that, like, obviously they're, in a way, antagonists for us. But I like how their characters are written. I really appreciate it.
I would believe at this point that they probably have realized that Armin lied to them about Annie being, like, tortured.
I don't even think so. I think that they probably think that that's a possibility, and that would push their motive to wanting to retrieve her as soon as possible even more.
Okay.
And I feel bad for her. Like, I feel bad in that sense, but
I like Annie so much that I feel bad that she's just been in basically a capsule this whole time.
Well, it's an interesting point, right? So if you'd be okay with Annie being there, you'd potentially be okay with the other side knowing your secrets or being able to use that power themselves, right?
Right.
So they're willing to, like, sacrifice that, or maybe they're just like, oh, Aaron's about to be here in a second.
They know he's gonna head there, so they basically just have to wait for him.
I'm surprised that they're, like, so seemingly confident that they can use it. They can use the coordinate.
But they might not have a great understanding, because I feel like Kenny is from a family who followed the king and knew its secrets, and he thought that he learned from Rod that he couldn't fully use the power.
That's true.
We saw him learn. So I think
whether that's a lie or not.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Reiner, Berthold, and Beast Titan dude don't know everything or know if everything is possible. They're just probably working under assumptions and theories.
Here's an assumption in theory. Does the orangutan want to destroy all the Titans? Like, they are obviously in opposition to the side that had been in power and had the coordinate for so many years, and they wanted to keep the Titans. So wouldn't that potentially imply that the other side would want the coordinate to do the opposite? Or do different?
It can't be Erwin's dad.
Why?
Because he was like, what's this ODM gear? And I don't know.
True.
Erwin's not that old.
Yeah, I know.
Like, okay.
But
it's just, I always try to connect blonde people, and that's why I was like, oh, that's Connie's mom, in that house. I mean, that ended up being true. So
what, like, do you think that the orangutan already has the ability to turn people into Titans? Like, is he part of the family? The royal family somehow?
Royal family.
Like, and he has like an incomplete version?
Like a brother? Or like Rod and Yuri's uncle?
Like the king who built this civilization had like a brother or
like
a sibling.
Like the first king's family, and he objected to what the first king was doing? Is that what you're getting at?
So like it's like two different families. They're still the same bloodline, but they're in different places, like, and it's
or
generations
they could have
later.
each been like ruling their own civilization. Because we know that Berthold and Reiner have no home to return to. So that could mean that wherever they're from has already been destroyed by Titans.
It wouldn't even mean necessary that the other person would be ruling it, especially if they didn't have the same power.
Right,
but
because they don't have the power to wipe people's memories or control Titans.
Yeah. Well, Orangutan does.
The Beast Titan, for some reason, has some powers, and I'm not really sure.
I think he could be potentially Rice family.
To have possible powers,
the Rip side,
he has to be like that without having taken a syringe like Eren did to get the armor. Last couple episodes, I feel like he might have to be in the family line. That would probably make sense.
His glasses look different than our civilization's glasses look.
Yeah.
And is that purely aesthetic? Is it
a time period, maybe?
Yeah. So
So is he from a long time ago?
Or a different society?
Yeah.
If
fashion's probably different.
If you split up two humans in this two human civilizations opposite sides of the globe, and they both started from the same place, they're not like 1,000 years later. They're not necessarily going to have everything the exact same.
Right.
It would be slightly different potentially. Or it's from an older time. I don't know.
I mean, we do know that you can be in a Titan form for a very long time. Didn't it really seem like the Beast Titan had been in his beast form for a very, very long time? Or
we said that because he said he didn't know what the ODM gear was. Right. So that's what we assumed.
Do we know when ODM gear was invented? Because Ymir was in her Titan form for 60 years.
Yeah.
So we know that you can be in the Titan form for a very, very long time.
You can be a Titan for a very long time.
Yeah, you can be a Titan for a very, very long time before you are able to transform back.
Yeah.
But then again, can people who can transform back... We have yet to see any of them except the examples of the Founding Titan age super fast.
Yeah.
So is it only with the Founding Titan power?
Not the Titan ability itself, but like the memory thing. I mean,
so you could potentially live forever if you have the ability to turn back and forth from Titan to human.
Potentially, as long as you don't mind living as a Titan for a bit. What do you see? Like the indents on?
Yeah, what were they? I thought they were like cannonballs.
Yeah. Do you think they're like tiny punches, or like Ty Lee, you know?
Like the Beast Titan's just pressure pointing it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting that they were so in awe of the Beast Titan, and then the next time we see them directly interact with the Beast Titan, it's like at odds.
They totally know him. You know what I mean?
I still want to know why he's ripped though. Like
Why
how
can't
did
people
he
just
get
be ripped?
so buff? I don't know.
Aaron's ripped.
Yeah, but he's doing like training. He's not running around in a giant monkey body.
You don't know what this man's doing. If you train in the monkey body, does it help your body?
Doesn't the monkey body have like a six pack? I'm pretty sure the Beast Titan has like abs.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, the Beast Titan has abs, guys. He has elf ears like Aaron does.
He does.
And he has he's very furry like Grisha. Is this Grisha's brother? Both of them have furry Titan forms. And Aaron has elf ears like his uncle.
That's a good idea, but then you'd have to say that Grisha like was a Titan for the same amount of time that his brother was.
Yeah, but think about it. Okay, if you were able to live a long time and then you met someone that you fell in love with, wouldn't you want to live as a human with them? Grisha met a woman that he fell in love with and he had a kid with her.
Yeah.
And then he ended up living as a human.
Yeah.
To be with her, and he got the job as a doctor.
So are you saying that
he might have had a different idea of ending humanity from his brother or something, and because he fell in love with a human woman.
Okay.
So maybe he wanted the power to be able to fight against his brother, the Beast Titan.
But how would the Beast Titan was also trying to get the power?
I think, that's aren't they trying to?
No, but like in your narrative, like beforehand.
In my narrative, he's like the Beast Titan and Berthold and Reiner were all trying to end humanity for some reason, and they're all trying to get this coordinate. And I'm like, well, what if Grisha was like, I just fell in love with a human woman inside the walls. I don't want to end humanity anymore.
Why would they want to end humanity?
No. Because they like destruction and death. I don't know.
It doesn't seem like...
It doesn't.
I think it is a good point, though. Like...
I'm just like comparing their Titan forms now. I mean, like, it's all aesthetics and it's all illustrated aesthetics of people. They could be very unrelated.
Well... it's obvious to us. We've seen Frida as a Titan. She does not have pointy ears. So it wouldn't be the power.
Look like?
What?
Did Grisha have pointy ears?
No.
Or was he just furry?
Good question. But I was going to say, the orangutan has pointy ears, but Aaron's not furry. You know?
Yeah, but maybe it's like he's a kid. Because we did say that the kid, when Aaron was even younger, his Titan form looked like even younger.
But that wasn't a Titan form, that was a Titan.
So is the Titan you become when you get injected, does that look totally different? No, because Ymir looked the same.
Correct.
Before and after.
Yeah. So age obviously does change it a bit. He had pointy ears too. He's
not as furry. He has like a little chest hair patch.
Right? I want to make sure I got that right. Kinda? Right?
Yeah, his ears are pointy. And he has green eyes. Just like the Beast Titan.
You're right.
They are brothers.
They are related.
Okay. Grisha is related to the Beast Titan is my current theory.
I like that. They all have pointy ears. And that's really it.
And I'm still theorizing that Grisha is not living with his brother anymore or family member because he fell in love with a human woman that was Aaron's mom and he decided to have a baby.
I could see that narratively. Grisha could have had a whole life before in this other place.
Another life.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what if Aaron has siblings, like half siblings? This would get so complicated.
Do you think that it could be like a bloodline thing too?
We did wonder if Aaron is from a bloodline that's memories didn't get wiped.
Mm-hmm.
And if his dad had the power of the Titans, it's safe to say that his bloodline doesn't have their memories get wiped. It's just that Grisha never told Eren any of the truths of the world.
Does
Or did he?
does
Wouldn't that be interesting flashbacks if we realized that Grisha had been planting things in Eren's mind all along as a child?
maybe how old would Grisha be in relation, like, compared to? See, okay, here's my issue. I like the brother thing. I think is a little less likely if they're related because of the age gap that would follow. If Grisha was turned into a Titan and 60 years passed, saying that because that's what Ymir, like, that's how long it passed for her. What are the odds that a family member would know exactly, with no, like, understanding or knowledge, like, if he'd ever survive, if he would have been turned back, you know?
They must have already had the power altogether to, like, as a family, to turn back and forth.
What? No. Why?
You're asking me how it would be possible, and I'm saying
But then
they all would have had to be able to turn back and forth. I mean, he might not even know Grisha's there.
That's what I'm saying. I would think if they're related, he wouldn't know that Grisha's there, and he wouldn't know that Eren was related to him either. Because he's like the coordinate, right?
Yeah. It could be like this uncle situation. Like, we get Kenny as the uncle, and then, like, now Eren has an uncle too.
I like that. But I don't like the brother thing. I think, like, descendant
Cousin
could be
uncle. Kunkle.
son, grandson, great-grandson.
Okay.
Great-great-grandson. I don't...
Okay.
We don't know how long Grisha was a
Grandson.
Titan.
We don't. And we did say that because the Beast Titan has so much fur, he's probably really old and been around for a long time. Because, like, it can't be just because this guy has a beard that's why his Titan form has lots of hair.
Why does age necessarily have to add air to a Titan form?
I'm just guessing that it does.
No.
Because the only Titans that are furry that I have seen are older people. Which are not old. I'm gonna guess they're like 40, 38, 40, something like that.
I definitely think they're related. I think that this, granted, it's not
Grisha
based
has
off.
a similar haircut.
What?
Grisha had a similar haircut.
That doesn't matter. It's not the same hair color.
It's
Easy,
not.
right? But I think
Are
that
their eyes similar?
I don't know. I do think I'm
Did
only
Grisha have
going.
glasses?
Yeah, that's why does that matter?
Because eyesight issues can be in the family.
We just talked about this yesterday. It did not happen in my family. I have bad eyes and they don't. But I'm going solely off the fact that they are the only Titans we've seen with pointy ears, and that is the reason that they're related.
And green eyes. Wait, are they the only Titans we've seen with green eyes?
I don't know. Probably not.
Annie had blue eyes. Frida had purpley eyes. Aaron's eyes, they've shown us look really green. Like, they've shown Aaron's eyes looking like these green light balls. Like they show Grisha's eyes.
What do Grisha's glasses look like?
They're like round.
They're not like...
I guess the style, because they're like the same style as like Erwin's dad, is like this round, just plain. That's just the style of this world. They don't have like fun shaped glasses.
Fun shape.
You're not going to see Grisha rolling up with some cat eye shaped glasses in like tortoiseshell pattern.
That'd be awesome. I'm trying to find a picture of like Grisha, like...
Just Grisha?
Yeah.
I feel like we'd have to go all the way back to episode 1.
Nah. Didn't... Grisha was pleading with
Oh,
Roy's
right,
family
he
in
was
episode
bleeding.
6?
Oh, and you see the tummy open when he turns, just kind of like how we saw Rod's tummy open.
Yeah, I really think that there's a chance that they're related. I mean, like...
I like it. I like the Beast Titan and Grisha being related.
What did
like
Ymir's
that.
Titan look like? Did she have pointy ears?
No.
No?
My current guess is no. But Ymir also kind of looks like them a little bit, or at least Grisha.
Yeah.
My memory's not serving me for like all of the details of Ymir's Titan form face. But at the moment, I don't feel like they were pointy. Because then all my theories are going to go out the window, so I kind of hope they're not pointy.
I want to know if they are, so we know if that is a legitimate theory. Because I like the theory a lot, but we need some evidence. Are they kind of pointy?
They look round from this angle. They look round from this angle. They look like normal ears. Because normal ears kind of have a slight, tilt to them that's kind of not pointed. Like,
I think we can see,
elf.
The picture of Historia and Ymir saying goodbye to each other.
Yeah, that would be the perfect angle. They look round.
We didn't get a good look yet.
Every look I get, they look round. I still am shook by that scene of Eren, they're round. They're not, point.
There's a little bit of a point there.
There's a little bit of a point, but it's not as drastic.
I agree it's not as drastic, but it's not, just round.
Yeah.
It's hard, because it does look like a little bit of a point, right?
It's, a little bit pointy, but
it's not to the degree of elf ears.
It's not like Zelda.
Yeah. Ymir and Eren related.
Ymir and Eren are related.
I'm trying.
I mean,
Ymir
was the fake blood of the king. I don't know. I'm trying to
that's
make
an
stuff up so it makes sense.
That's an interesting point, though. What was... Did we get, a name? That...
Of the king? Of, whoever the king was?
For Ymir?
No.
I thought we did.
I think we were given a name.
The blood of,
Blood of the king, as I thought what they said. But the knights might have showed... When the knights showed up...
Ymir, right? Isn't that the name given to her? The royal name, Lady Ymir?
I think that was just the name that they gave her.
I'm wondering if they have a religion, or they have, a history where Lady Ymir, this, descendant, okay, how cool of a story would it be if you have Historia over here with her noble lineage bloodline, and then Ymir is the fake bloodline to continue their lineage?
It'd be cute because they become friends.
Exactly.
And that they're already, so interconnected that it would make sense if they had similar situations.
It was a past that they didn't want to have remember because obviously they punished Ymir for being Lady Ymir. They were trying to
being a fake descendant.
Or
for treasonous to claim that you are a relative.
I think treasonous to have that religion. Because they were worshipping in secret, remember?
Yeah.
So it was they tried to continue on their own form of a Wallist. And
it couldn't have been the Wallists, because we all know that the Wallists had dominion over the interior police, who were the secret punishers. So if someone started praising the Reese family as king, I don't think they would have been ejected and thrown off the wall. So that's more credence to it being a totally different society.
I'm thinking that I don't know. I'm thinking about Ilse's notebook and the whole Lady Ymir thing there. Obviously that Titan was in Ymir's group, right? So that's what
I totally think it was the lady that was knocked off the wall right before her.
Yeah, so
purely by haircut.
That reference. Interesting.
I wonder if this show is ever going to make sense completely. Are we gonna end with questions? I also wonder where things will go when so many loose ends have already been tied up. I don't know, we're already so close to what could be perceived as an ending and a final issue, a final battle, and which is a little sad. But I also know that there's more time left in the show.
There, the things that I have, I think have left to happen are the inevitable battle between the Orangutan, potentially Reiner and Bert, and the information of what the Orangutan wants to do with this power. Those are the things that I feel like would need to happen, and then an outcome
like
to that.
action-wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I agree. Like
Action-wise,
right?
I feel like we just need to deal with them, and we need to get to the basement.
But then understand what they want to do.
That's not an action.
Other than action-wise, like I feel like that's another thing in the story.
Action-wise, we need to find out why the first king thought that this was the best idea for humanity. We need to find out, completely understand how Titans are actually created and that kind of process. Find out if they're about the other civilizations in the world. And actually get is who still alive?
Is Shallot still alive? That's another thing that needs to be answered.
Yeah, buddy. Sharot's totally still alive. In my dreams.
Is that girl in the back of the cafeteria
probably dead?
Still alive?
Probably dead.
God.
Probably most definitely died within that first interaction when they all fight for the first time against the Titans.
Is Levi gonna tell Mikasa?
Yes. Are they gonna have a new dynamic of now we're family? How do we treat each other now that we're family? They just will become even cooler of a duo.
Why does the Ackerman family have power like that?
Yeah. Will there ever be romance in this story?
I mean, it's been hinted at with Mikasa and Eren.
Yes.
Very
and Reiner and Historia and Berthold and Annie. A lot of one-sided crushes here, but that's okay with me. I mean, the only couple we've ever seen dead.
Yeah.
Or one of them dead, and the other one probably also died eventually,
You're right.
But we never saw it.
You're right. All right. That's all I have. You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
Ooh, another question. Do we ever find out what happened to Armin's parents?
We did. They died.
Or did they get turned into Titans and pushed off the walls?
True. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.